What's up, guys? No need for a long introduction. We just got out after celebrating, and now we need to figure out where the heck our gate key went, as well as the dreamstone. So, walking around, some of the people will give you hints, like she'll mention that she saw the reptiles. They went south to the forest maze. And I don't think anyone else really has much of anything important to say, except for we just got a few tonics. Basically, that's also another hint, is once we're in the maze down here, follow the footprints, and that'll get you through this whole place. And now we get to talk to Chrono. Chrono. Well, I'm not sure how involved we should get with this, but Alia seems to like Chrono a lot. But here comes the kicker. Oh, damn reptiles. Taking away all our fun and all our stuff. And now we gotta go still continue our same plan of getting our stuff back from the reptiles. Except for now we know that they actually have the stuff. That's just assuming it turns out it's Chrono, but it doesn't really matter. Because it got taken away from Chrono anyways. Let's beat the crap out of these people. Nothing interesting about these enemies. They just have a fair amount of health, attack every once in a while. Nothing out of the ordinary for a fight. My screen just flickered again. Oh. Okay, that's what happens. Alright, now remember, I think you get more XP if you kill them while they're golden, and I think after so many hits, they turn into a red. And now they shoot fireballs out of their ass. I don't know if they're health resets, though. And if you haven't noticed, I guess I haven't really given her much of an introduction. This is Alia. I don't really know how to pronounce her name. I've never been able to pronounce it right, or never known how to pronounce it correctly. But she doesn't get a weapon. She gets fists. And, well, they're the strongest weapon in the game, pretty much. As you can see between hers and Chrono's, it's a lot higher. But you can't get any new ones. The only way you can technically get new fists are to get her to certain levels. It's very high levels though, until you start getting your first fist. And she luckily starts off with her ruby vest and a rock helm, which is what we need to get everyone else in eventually. And she has a power scarf, which is basically a better version of the power. I think it's called power glove. And I guess now's the time to take advantage to do this now. But we're gonna swap out these items. We're gonna give her the silver stud now, because she has very expensive abilities, and she doesn't have much of a mana pool. So we'll give Chrono the power scarf, and we'll give her the silver earring, so she's got a lot more health, and she should have about the same amount of health as everyone else. Actually, she has more than Chrono's right now. But that should make her very strong and be able to, because she has a lot less armor than everyone else. So this should allow her to take in a few more hits and be okie dokie, I guess would be the right word, I guess, to use. And now just trying to get all the items. I'm sure I'm missing over some, but none of them are really that important, if I recall correctly. Now we get to fight a winged ape. Not much to say about these guys in this circumstance, but in another area, you'll fight them with what enemies called schists. They're just little rocks, basically, and they, if you attack him, every time you do, he throws a schist at you. It's kind of hard to say that name without, accidentally swearing. But I'm not one to care too much about using inappropriate language. Where is that thingy? Okay, there we go. There's a really awkward ramp right there that is kind of hard to see. I don't know. Ramps are kind of sometimes hard to see in like these old 8-bit. I guess this is actually a 16-bit game, but like in a game like this, it's kind of hard to see doors and ramps. Like, I had that problem when playing Secret of Mana, was I could never tell what was a door and what was just a crack in a wall. But, I mean, that's alright, because I love the art style in games like this, that I would take this over a 3D game almost any time of the day, or almost any day of the year. What a fuck, God, I can't talk. That's okay, because we're beating the shit out of an old dinosaur. So I will say, these kind of style, this style isn't for every type of game. Obviously, I don't know, like a first-person shooter should obviously be more in a 3D looking. It should definitely be in a 3D world. I love me some Doom and Wolfenstein, but those games are just sometimes hard to see, and they're definitely hard on my eyes. And I could understand how people used to get motion sickness from that. Ugh. Just don't feel like fighting these guys. But as was mentioned earlier, as I horribly explained it, we're gonna have to grind a little bit for this, but it's not completely. It might be necessary at this low of a level that I'm not really at this low of a level that I'm currently at. I just need the extra armor, which is what we're gonna grind for. We can grind petals, excuse me, fangs, feathers, and I think claws is the other one. That way we can get everyone their best weapon, as well as 2 ruby vests and 2 rock helms, because we need 3 and Alia's already got 1 of both. Also, we need to, I guess now's a good time to point out that one of Alia's important techs, which I think should be the next one she's unlocking. Okay, never mind, she's not. But after Rolo Kick, she learns a spell called Charm, which is somewhat deceiving what the heck that even does if you just look at it, and even like the description's horribly explained as well. It just says charms an enemy, but oh crap, I missed a chest. Let's see if we can grab that one real fast. But basically her charm is a steal. I don't know why they called it charm, it just makes things really confusing, I guess. But all she does is charms the enemy and they give her a present. That's all she does. That's all it does. But for most boss fights, it's pretty necessary to have her in the party and steal, because most bosses have really useful items. A lot of tabs, a lot of like interesting items that you can't get anywhere else. Like at one point you can get a pair of pants as a helmet, and you can only do it by stealing it from or charming it from an enemy. I guess he also has really high defense too when he turns into a red. So I guess you get 2 hits to defeat him, and then he turns into a red eaglet, which looks like it's got really high defense, counterattacks every time you hit him, and shoots fire out of his ass. But luckily these 2, I think in combination, almost kills in 2 hits. I guess not quite. I don't know if his health resets either, though. I think I've said that. I think I questioned that earlier too. But it kind of looks like it. 'Cause, I mean, it's taking quite a few hits to kill him. So like, maybe his health does reset. Probably. Let's just grab this chest real fast. I doubt it's anything important, but let's pretend to be perfectionists. Oh, it's not there. It's right next to this monkey. Got a Specchio, except for they're not called that here. They're just called koalas. And wow, she is critting a lot. She does have the highest crit rate of everyone, not counting Frog with a certain item. And as she gets upgraded fists, they do more base damage as well as they have a high crit rate, except for her final fist, which I believe is called the Bronze Fist. I think you can get it at level 99. It has like its crit rate goes down to like 5% or something like that, but it always hits for, no matter what, that crit hits for like 9,999. Basically does max damage. But even without the crit, it's still a very powerful thing to get. But obviously, nothing's going to give you much of a problem at level 99 except for Specchio. And Specchio only gives you a problem because he scales with your level. And if you forgot who Specchio was, he was the guy that gave us magic that we fought, and he kicked me in the face really hard. And every 10 or so levels he gets stronger, but every time you beat him every time you beat him the first time in that group of 10 levels, he gives you a bunch of tabs, which is really nice. And a lot of people like to fight him at level 90. Oh jeez, everyone needs health. Like I was saying, everyone that fights him at level 99, they do it because he gives 10 of every tabs, and it helps max out your stats, obviously. If you're able to get the item, 10 stats, 10 free stats every time you do it. And Specchio actually at level 99 is in fact the hardest boss fight. But I think on the DS version there's a harder boss fight. It's just, actually we don't need a heal up. We'll use a shelter once we get out of here. Right here. Whoa, did not mean to push A, sorry. I think I read on the DS version they added some extra stuff to it, and one of the bosses in there is actually harder than level 99 Specchio. Though it's not to say he's probably any easier, but he's supposed to be pretty freaking hard. I've never actually bothered to do it. See, that's one example of like a weird door that's kind of hard to see. It kind of looks, I mean, in this one it is fairly obvious where it is. Here's a little interesting area where you basically, I just saw the top of him. Where basically you're just gonna go down in little holes and try to get to the bottom of it. And every time, if there's enemies in the room, every time you try to go down it, you have to fight these enemies before you can proceed. And I believe these guys have really high armor. Oh, never mind. These aren't the enemies with high armor. But in this area, we will have to utilize Chrono's lightning spell a lot, because some of these enemies are just impossible to beat without using lightning. And all it does is it like lowers their defense. It'll stun them. In this game, stunning makes them so they can't do anything, but it's also like greatly sharply decreases their regular defense. So you pretty much have to use like, okay, here's an example of one of the guys that you have to use lightning on, and you'll see it points out that he we'll have Alya hit him once and show you how little damage she's gonna do. Just 32 damage there. But once we use his lightning, he'll get stunned, power defense decreased, and there you go. Marla already just kind of proved how much more powerful it was. Alya was able to, Marla was able to do more damage than Alya. So yeah, we'll be having to use that quite a bit in this area. And hopefully I don't get too lost. So, though obviously right now it's pretty straightforward. Alright. Sweet, that means one less rock helm I have to go by. Right now she still only has one ability. And soon she'll get roller kick. I wish she could get triple kick, but we're not going to grind for that. That would take too long. But I'll be honest, this is probably going to pretty much be the team that we're going to... This is going to be the setup we'll be using pretty much the rest of the game. And Chrono's apparently asleep. But he was kind of standing there for a second. It was a little confusing. My screen just flickered again. It's weird. I guess my something computery isn't working properly. I don't know. I think that's the only chest in this area. Okay, there's one more right here. Let's see if we can get without touching him. Or I do touch him. Whatever. Let's kill this guy first. And then we will electroshock this other guy. I don't know why everyone loves shooting fireballs at me, but whatever. And now let's just pound the crap out of them. Get our chest and move on to the next screen.